Hello, good evening, and welcome to another edition of Iron Port here on the Metropolitan Television. Iron Port is proudly brought to you by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Ghana Revenue Authority, Goel Company Limited, Serene Insurance, and the Ghana Link Network Services. They are operators of the Integrated Customs Management System, ICOMS, in the ports. The program is also streaming live on our social media pages. On Facebook, you can watch us at Ghana Port and Harbours Authority, Tema Port, Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Tema Port. On YouTube, we are live at Iron Port Ghana. Iron Port Ghana. Our media partner is the Business and Financial Times, and so if you want to have a grasp of all that transpired tonight on the show, make a date and grab the Thursday edition of the Business and Financial Times, and all that transpired on the show tonight, you'll be able to see and read and have a grasp of that. Now, along the line, as usual, we're going to be getting interactive, and you can send us your messages ahead via a WhatsApp line, which is 0559-019-177. 0559-019-177. Today, we're going to be activating the phone lines a bit earlier because of the subject we are discussing. We're having a second part of the subject we discussed last week, and that's the importation and clearance of vehicles in Ghana ports. And we had tons of messages coming in. We couldn't deal with all of them, and so we have the customs officer here today again, and he's going to be responding to these messages, and we shall also get you to ask him questions via our phone lines. And so when the time is due, we shall activate the phone lines for you to get interactive with us and ask us the questions that you have for us. My name is Kennedy Mona. Let's go for this quick break. We'll be back soon.
Goil makes good things happen. This time, Goil has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. Goil Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. Goil Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Goil Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with Goil Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. Goil has that sorted. Goil, good energy.
Electricity, pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Tell God, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water, or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
All right, so you're welcome back, and it's time for us to go for some local news, and these are happenings that took place in the port and maritime industry in the course of the week. And one that really comes to mind is the fact that the Minister for Transport, the Honorable Kweku Ofori-Esiama, paid a working visit to the port of Takoradi. He went to inspect progress of work there in the port and also introduce his two deputies to the management of the port. And then we also have the Director of Port for Tema, Madam Sandra Opoko, entreating security personnel to be dedicated to duty. This was as a passing out ceremony for security personnel in the port of Tema. Let's take a look at these stories.
The Minister of Transport, Kwekufuri Siama, together with his 2 deputies, have paid a 2-day working visit to the port of Takoradi, Axim, and Discov fish landing site. The purpose of the visit was to inspect expansion works at the port of Takoradi and also introduce his deputies to the management of the port. He inspected the liquid bulk terminal, which was commissioned last year by the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, the dry bulk jetty, as well as the ongoing construction of the Atlantic Container Terminal. He expressed optimism that the port of Takoradi will soon become the port of choice in the West African sub-region.
This is my view, my aim, that by the middle of next year, Takoradi port should become a port that was built in 1928. We see a new face to become the new port in the West Africa sub-zone. That is my policy. That is the policy of government. That's why we are working towards it. But we see we are doing a lot of activities.
The minister revealed that due to the change in engineering, the first vessel call would be by the end of December.
So I'm hoping that for where we have reached over the level of progress that we made, we will be able to meet that particular timelines of first vessel calling at 8 years in December this year.
Earlier, the minister and his entourage visited the Axim and Discov fish landing site, where works are progressing steadily. In Axim, 2.5 hectares of land has been reclaimed from the sea, and the breakwater of 500 meters long has also been constructed. A portion of the reclaimed land would be used by the fisher folks, and the other portion for further development. In Discov, a 150-meter breakwater has been constructed to prevent sea erosion and destruction of canoes by the waves. A quay wall of 50 meters has also been constructed to aid in the loading and offloading of fish by fishermen. The Minister of Transport said, but for the COVID-19 pandemic, the construction would have reached an appreciable level. That notwithstanding, he said he was very impressed with works on both the Axim and Discov fish landing sites.
Not for the COVID, I'm sure you would have gone far, but we are not too behind schedule. I think that if you give price analysis, we are still within schedule, and I'm hoping that the time we gave ourselves to finish, we will be able to work within the time frame.
Government, through the Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture Development, Mavis Awakumsin, has declared the closed fishing season over. To this end, the minister, during a symbolic ceremony at the Albert Posomkwe Fishing Harbour in Sekondi, said the fishing season was now open and that fishermen were free to ply their trade. She urged the fishing community to resolve to stop all forms of illegal fishing practices. She named some of the illegal fishing methods as light fishing, the use of dynamite and harmful chemicals such as DDT, and the use of monofilament and small-sized nets. The minister said the implementation of the measure was part of the strategies agreed with stakeholders to reduce excessive fishing and overexploitation of fish stock in the marine subsector.
The fishers have really complied with the law, and I think it's good for them. It will benefit them. They understand, that's why they comply. They even called for the closed season. So we were only trying to say, help them to engage.
She vowed to strictly enforce the laws and provide adequate logistics to enable the Fisheries Commission to discharge its duty. The Omahene of Isikado, Nana Kobina Nketia V, said foreigners such as Chinese, Japanese and Filipinos had no share in the country's fishing industry, and that the ministry should ensure that they do not carry out illegal fishing in the country.
The director of the Port of Tema, Sandra Opoku, has entreated the security personnel of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority to remain committed to security training programs organized by the Port Authority so as to maintain the high level of security Ghana's ports are known for. The director of Ports said this during a passing out ceremony held for new recruits for the security department of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority.
As you may be aware, Ghana's ports are well known to be the most secured within the West African sub-region. Our focus as a port authority is facilitating trade in a safe and secure port environment. This training was designed to equip you with the necessary skill to conduct your duties in a diligent and professional manner.
She said It is even more imperative for the Port Authority to tighten its security in accordance with the demands that come with increased maritime crime in the West African sub-region.
In recent times, threats of terrorism and piracy is rife and on the rise within the sub-region, and this requires that you exhibit vigilance, hard work, and commitment towards duty at all times.
The 291 new recruits undertook a 4-week standard military orientation training at the Army Recruit Training School at Shai Hills in the Greater Accra region. Over the period, the recruits were taken through basic but comprehensive military craft that encompasses physical training, drill, map reading, first aid, search procedure, operational security, detection of improvised explosive device, and port-related subjects, among others. The DP of Tema thanked the commanding officer and staff of the training school for transforming the recruits into qualified security officers.
In a related development, a passing out ceremony for 75 fire brigade recruits of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority who will be working in the port of Tema has been held at the Fire Academy Training School in Accra. The recruits comprised 19 females and 56 males. They were taken through hydraulics, chemistry of combustion, pumps and primers, amongst others, in the 4-week training and demonstrated their skills in some operational drills. The Chief Fire Officer, in a speech read on his behalf by DCFO Edward Ashon, Director of Human Resource and Training, said the training has boosted the confidence of the new recruits and thus will enhance their overall performance.
Ahead of you lies years of service to the people of this great nation. For you to be successful, please continue to remind yourselves of the 8 cardinal points of a fireman. I wish you all good health, a fulfilling career with a bright future.
The Director of Port of Tema, Sandra Poku, was optimistic the new recruits will be able to discharge their duties in a professional manner to safeguard the ports of Ghana.
With the appropriate equipment and augment our staff while sparing no effort in ensuring that our newly recruited firemen receive the requisite training to enable them to discharge their responsibilities efficiently. And we need a diligent, joined-up approach to safety to prevent both large-scale disasters and smaller accidents that can be just as tragic for those affected by them.
All right, so welcome back. And just by way of update, just today, the Port of Accra has a new liquid bulk terminal received its biggest vessel, deep draft vessel, since it was commissioned in 2020. The Vice President, His Excellency, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, commissioned that particular liquid bulk terminal on 15 September 2020. And just today, this morning, it received the biggest vessel to it. And this vessel is called GH Parks, and it is discharging some 9,500 metric tons of gas oil, and from which it will head to the Port of Tema to discharge some load as well. And so we'll be bringing you details of this particular story next week. It's now time for us to go for the Goyle TV Market, and the Goyle TV Market is about showcasing the services and products of one of our lead sponsors, Goyle Company Limited. And this week's edition of the Goyle TV Market comes to you from the Amrahia service station. Enjoy.
Goyle, in the service of the nation.
We are here in Amrahia filling station to appreciate our customers. Southeast team. Southeast zone comprises of some part of Accra, Eastern region, and then part of Central region.
Southeast Zone has taken its turn on the Goyle TV Market series. The zone, in collaboration with the BD Group and the Quality Assurance team, educated drivers, mainly taxi cab and trotro owners, on the efficacy and the general quality of Goyle fuels at the Amrahia service station near Accra. The team demonstrated with tests and with the Goyle Mobile Laboratory the overall quality of Goyle products. Several drivers who patronized products from the two stations gave positive testimonies.
First, petrol baby fufu. But want to know now, my sister, pumping now say, now me free fit. Fit say, shit, I need to say, petrol no, now so another filling station. I say to go. You see what? Yes, yeah, engineer. We started go to. Me shop be.
Well, be the person, the filling station who are correct, who everything is set for. Customers should be named this and what should be buying. If you buy, if you buy here from Kofodia Tafo and go and play match, can where it might be the same time now. That's why I always be there. Want to buy my fuel go.
We any wrong 95 no. But I who call and say the city. We any wrong 91 no. I'm saying they will be any. Wrong 95 for the entire your friend or wrong 95 ne say. If we are singing no, yeah the number and the general and the ma fuel no aye petrol no na hoden. Ghana ha no ye shasie e free wrong 91. Bibia eba form ebro ro 91 no yenyin tum ewo Ghana ha na ye de ne de ya pagem ekon 95 enso ya see e tama said ye na utokoko na ema engine no e perform better ema engine no enyini ye de eche ena esanso reduce maintenance cost.
You're always talking about petrol, which is XP3. What of the diesel engines?
XP3 no yedi ka chechim e wo diesel no. Na de ba ko awo diesel ho a me ka kire mo a enye emma wo car. Emfa se sulfur. Se sulfur no e wo esoro a say engine block lining. Se lining no say a de na esi rusting. Start to say it take place. Afe ET and I say D injectors. Na afe engine na dey easy. It will go Europe and the idea. Almost high sulfur, 10 ppm. Yeah, region because of environment. Yeah, high sulfur. Ghana currently 50 ppm maximum. Now so ebinum eton up to 1,500 ppm. Yeah, they see and ton sir. The unique feature away diesel when they say yeah ton what is called ultra low sulfur diesel. A year below 50 ppm.
The last year, Mr. Carlo, in November, me put fuel. Oh, baby. Na kanu kichinu. Tama mande ni kanu mame na entisa. Obisa me say me to fuel. Na me so me to so and so. No so there be no ton fuel go. I see some who say pump be the boot me say so was some pump sa enye yi. But we try so on to fuel go. Me to go na na jai.
Yeah, that was a girl for near the same one who said, girl there at the papa, girl, super bia, betobiano, necalano, ahama mono green, and they are around 95. Even me told me, young kind of awesome. My young dear Tony dear, higher grade, same price.
Around 95, we say, me come once and when we can never come to the even conclusion. And you're very good because since me started using around 95, me have problem, or me can't obiato around 95.
So I would like to take this opportunity to entreat all drivers to drive with care after they have bought their fuel from Goyle filling station. And I myself, in fact, I've been a Goyle client or customer by default. Ever since I bought my car, it's only Goyle that I've been buying my fuel.
Any Goyle filling station that you see, the fuel there is around 95, same price, same quality. Apart from that, when you come to Amahia filling station, we have Go Cafe, Auto Pass, lubricant shop, and we have lube that you can also change your oil.
All right, so you all come back, and that was Goyle TV Market, which came to you from Amarahia here in the Greater Accra region. It's now time for us to zoom into our topic proper for tonight. And I told you earlier, we are continuing with the discussion we started last week, and that's the importation and clearance of vehicles at Ghana Ports. And last week, we brought in a customs officer, Mr. Justice Njoman Maga Yajayim, who is the supervisor at the Vehicle Valuation Unit, and he's also at the Customs Technical Services Bureau. And so he was the one we brought in last week, and we had a lot of discussions. We spoke a lot. The lines were buzzing. The messages were coming in. We couldn't deal with all of that. And so by popular request, we've decided that this evening, this week, we are bringing him again so that we can conclude on what we started last week. Let me introduce him to you once again. Good evening, Mr. Yajayim.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for joining us. We forwarded some of the messages that came through to you to look at so that we can see how best we can address them. We'll come to that. And today, like I intimated earlier, we're going to be activating the phone lines pretty much earlier so that we can get to deal with all the questions that people have for you. Not for me, for you.
Thank you.
Yes, so we'd like you to refresh the memories of viewers. How quickly, just run us through how to import a vehicle and how to clear it, and then the relevant documents that are required in the process.
Okay, thank you, Kennedy. I think if you look at the vehicle importation, it starts with the buyer or the importer, as we appropriately refer to them.
Yeah.
They import the vehicles. So he either goes to buy himself, or he gets a buying agent to do that on his behalf, or he gets it through a selling agent, who is the agent for the seller of the vehicle. Most of them, they buy from auction.
Okay.
With the salvage vehicles that they bring, they buy them from auction. Others are registered in Ghana here, and they're able to buy from here. Others, they will have to rely on people living abroad to get that.
And send
Yes.
them,
So when the vehicle is bought, they arrange for the shipment. So there are 3 stages: the purchasing of the vehicle, the shipment, and the clearance through customs when he arrives here. So the shipper arranges for the shipment. It is put on board a vessel, and then when it gets into Ghana, he arranges for an agent, a clearing agent.
Yeah.
And most people think that they can do it on their behalf.
Absolutely.
Until last week, we explained that
absolutely,
everybody cannot go to the port to go clear his vehicle.
Yeah.
So you need
the
some
services,
people who are skilled, who have the technical know-how to be able to do that on your behalf. Because to move from customs, shipping line, bank, you cannot do that. So somebody has to do that, you pay him. So
and you also explain the concept of self-declarance.
Yes, self-declarance, yes. There are some of the companies who have had the opportunity of being registered as self-declarant. So they are able to clear their own vehicles. So we have, for example, Toyota Ghana. They do that.
They clear their own cars.
Yes,
from
they
the
do that,
sure.
yes. So when the agent gets your BL, which is issued by the shipping line, then he checks, he has to monitor the arrival of the vessel on your behalf. So with the new system ICOMS, you can either do a pre-entry or you wait when the vehicle arrives, the vessel arrives, then the agent goes through his front end. We call it front end. What they have in their offices, we call them front end. So he's able to input the details on the BL.
As a bill of lading.
Bill of lading into the system. So when he does that, you have the consignee, the consignor. We have exporter, importer, right? Properly, that's how we refer to them. Yes. So you have the vehicle details, the chassis number, the make, the model, the type, and then he has to declare your engine capacity, the fuel type. He has to declare the age, and then we have a HS code. We use that for now. We use the ECOWAS Common External Tariff. So he goes there because he has the know-how. He's able to pick the appropriate HS code that tallies with your vehicle. So when every field at his front end is completed with the information required, then he submits this BOE electronically to customs. So at customs headquarters, we have 4 operational areas. We have the classification, valuation, we have the supervisor level, and then we have an appeal model. Yes, so when the agent submits it, first stage is the classification. So the classification officer will vet whatever details has been submitted, whether they are okay. If it is not, he will query the BOE, the bill of entry, and to go back to the agent. And then the agent will have to correct the information he initially put into the system. So if everything is all right, he resubmits it. And he comes back to the same officer. If he's not available, the supervisor will reassign it to another officer to work on it. But if it comes directly into his pool. And then when he goes through and everything's okay, he will cross-check the HS code to see whether it is okay. If it is not, he's been given the opportunity to put the proper HS code that matches with the vehicle. And then the HS code automatically will come with the import duty rate. Depending on the engine capacity. We have small motor cars, which are the small vehicles we use. Saloon cars, lift backs, SUVs, station, all of them, they fall under the small cars.
Okay.
If it is the bus or van, if it's a truck, he has to declare. So he will check the HS code, and the HS code has been categorized based on what I've just mentioned.
Yeah.
So when that is done, he's okay with whatever information. Then he also approves it and then forwards it. It's a button you click.
Yeah.
You just click the button. It moves from stage to valuation stage.
Right.
That's a different officer who has to also deal with it.
Yeah.
So the officer and the system assigns the work automatically. Yes. So when he or she submits the job, then it moves to the next stage. The system assigns you to a evaluation officer from classification stage to valuation. So the evaluation officer will also go through the same rudiments.
Right.
What the classification officer will do, you cross-check the work he has done, whether everything has been properly done.
Yeah.
If he finds anything wrong, he can return it to the classification officer and tell him what to correct.
Right.
If it is okay, he then assigns the value, whether it's from US. We have the various softwares for valuation. We have the NADA for valuation of vehicles from US, Canada.
Yeah.
Yes. And then we have the Eurotas for European vehicles. We have values for those from Korea, Japan, all of them, all those areas. Yes. So he assigns a value based on where it is come from, the country of origin.
Yeah.
If he is okay, then he then forwards the work to the supervisor. And the supervisor will have to go through what the classification officer has done, and then valuation officer. And for vehicles, they are all, the risk management level has placed all vehicles under red. So when the supervisor goes through, the system will assign the risk level automatically. But if the system, for instance, some will have theirs because of the coding. It might go to green. The supervisor has the power to escalate it to red because all vehicles they are supposed to go for physical examination.
Right.
Yes. So the supervisor is okay with whatever has been done. Then he then approves it. It means that you agree with both classification and valuation, and then you approve it, and then move straight to the declarant, who is the agent. So if the agent gets the BOE approved, let me put it this
That's a bill of entry.
Yes, let me put it. Sometimes all the agents make some mistakes. Let's say he doesn't agree with the valuation, but he accepts
the value.
Yes,
the
but
value
he accepts
the
which is wrong. When you do that, it makes the work very difficult because it has to go through a certain cumbersome process to correct it. But if you disagree with the valuation, the simple thing
you should make it known
to
there
reject.
Right.
The system gives you opportunity to reject. And then when you reject, you are able to appeal. It means that you come to the appeal officer to take a second look at it. Yes. But if you disagree with it, you go to the bank, you can either ask the importer to pay. Because they have to generate the tax bill. So the agent will send to the importer, he goes to his bank, any of the 22 banks, they're able to pay from there. So some of the importers would prefer to pay their import duty.
Okay, so before you continue, with the rejection and appeal, do you not think that it's going to delay the process of clearance? And, and we also talk about accrual of, rent, demurrage and all that. The cost is running.
Yes. One thing is that
there'll be delays.
No. This is just something that will take very short period. Once you
reject
an appeal, the officer knows. Because that is his assigned job. So he goes through and he is able to correct if it's a value, if it's the age, if the chassis number, is able to correct that, and then he returns it back to. And with the issue of the rent, you can avoid it because the system allows for pre-entry. So you are able to even enter before the vessel comes in. You are able to pay. You are able to request for valuation and then effect the payment. So you can do all this before the vessel arrives. So the issue of the rent can be avoided at all costs.
Completely.
Yes. So if the payment is done, then the agent will have to. We are going back to the procedure. So if the payment is done, it's accepted. The payment is done. The agent will have to go to the shipping line. Effect payments there, the shipping, handling charges, and all that. So if that is done, then he has to come back to his office. If the payment is affected at shipping line, the system will allow him for a scheduling of examination officer, and then he has to go to GAPOA if the vehicles are Golden Jubilee.
Yeah.
If it's a save bond, you go to save bond, effect the payment, and then he schedules for the examination officer. So when these payments are done, the system will allow him to get the examination officer to open the container, because GAPOA will then drop the container for opening. But save bond, the vehicles are not in containers.
Right.
They come on deck, so they are not containerized. So he's able to get access to the vehicle for the examination officer. First, the marker will go to the examination of assistants. They do the technical aspect of the work, where they cross-check the chassis number, and then when they go through whether the age is correct, sometimes the chassis numbers are tempered. Sometimes the special feature for vehicles from US, they will take them off.
Okay.
So they are able to cross-check all those things. Then when they are okay, they go back to the examination officer. The examination officer will vet the declaration. That's BOE.
Yeah.
He will check whether the duty calculation, sometimes you can find some mistakes.
Okay.
Maybe the vehicle is a tipper truck, and then he declares a truck.
Yeah.
So they are able to, those corrections are done in Tema.
Sure.
But if it's about weight, it will come back to head office for acceptance. Yes. So if the examination officer is okay, if he queries it, they will effect the correction.
Yeah.
If it's anything he or she agrees with, then he goes into the system, puts in the record of examination, which will be brief.
Yeah.
It's not any long. We have our own way of doing it. Very short.
Right.
And then the agent is allowed to move the vehicle to the gate.
Yeah.
And then where we have the preventive officers, national security, yes. So they also go through, check whether everything that has been done is okay. If they are okay with it, then they release it for home consumption.
Okay.
So in
you,
short,
you can get your DP on it. And
yes,
start cruising.
go for DP plate and
you
all
start
those
cruising.
things. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So one thing that we didn't exhaust pretty much last week was the element of electric cars.
Yes.
And people sent messages complaining that the duty on these cars, you call it hybrid.
Yes, we have hybrid.
Is quite high, and you were explaining it. Let's deal with that.
Okay, with the hybrid vehicles, you see, we have something we call Ghana is a member of ECOWAS. So ECOWAS decided that economic integration, and it should lead to what? Economic development. So they have come in with this, refined this trade liberalization scheme, which started from 1990. Then they came out with a common standard tariff, because if you move from a free trade area where there's free movement of people, goods and services, there's a point that you have to, another stage where you have to form a customs union. And one of the features of a customs union is the CET, ECOWAS Common Standard Tariff, where they establish a tariff, common tariff, that will be levied on all goods from outside the union.
Okay.
So let's say US, if you are bringing something from US is a member, so that common tariff that has been established, it will affect all commodities. So, for instance, vehicles. But those from ECOWAS, they will be duty-free. Right. Just only the import duty. Other things stay. Okay. So with this, they establish a common standard tariff of 20% for all vehicles that fall under 8703. And these are the vehicles: 1, the saloon cars. 2, SUVs. 3, we have the wagons. And then, so with this, you see that for the hybrid cars, we have problems now. This is where they all fall.
Right.
But in 2015, when we're supposed to implement this common standard tariff, yes, it delayed. You see, from January, it delayed until after October, when we started implementing. And the reason was that ECOWAS, in its own wisdom, put in a flexibility measure. We call it a supplementary tariff measures for all the member countries. So that in order to avoid the harsh effect of this increment of taxes on the citizenry, they decided that for every member, you had the opportunity to adjust gradually the 3% of your tariff lines.
Right.
You see, so the government of Ghana took that opportunity and applied to ECOWAS.
Right.
And because it was 3%, because the tariff lines are over 5,000. So if you calculate the 3%, it's giving you 177.
Wow.
You see, so just that we needed to work within this. So government, in picking it, they decided to leave out some of the items who were not an issue, because that in 2015 we didn't have an issue with this hybrid vehicles coming in, because we didn't have, people didn't even like them, because they didn't know what they were meant for, so it was left out. So that 20%, which affected all these tariff lines and the 8703, they were changed with the exception of that one. So that's why it stayed at 20%. Yes, it's not as if anybody want to maybe destroy or doesn't see the benefit of hybrid vehicles. So now that there's that opportunity for people to use it and know how good it is. Yes, I think there have been discussions on it, how to go around it. And I'm sure with time it will be resolved. Yes. So in short, that is why it's 20%. Yes.
All right. So personally, what's your view about it? Do you think that it is apt for duties of these category of vehicles, hybrid vehicles, to be up there?
Oh, with respect to environmental concerns, where even Germany is moving away from diesel cars, and we know that it's having a toll on the environment. That's why they are doing so. So we will also have to follow suit and look at some of these things that will avoid negative effects, and then encourage those that will promote the positive effect, like the hybrid vehicle. Because if you look at the emission,
I know the U.S., for instance, just a day or two, President Biden, initialed for a percentage of vehicles in the U.S. to be electric. And so
I think
it's the way to go.
Kataka is doing same. They are also, and because they fall under this automotive policy, and they are getting zero rated. So I'm sure with time it will be resolved.
Absolutely. All right, so let's take a look at right-handed vehicles. That's how we call it. You are a customs officer. How do you call them? Because people import these vehicles and they get here and there are so many challenges and all that, and you now have to clear it. And if you are even able to clear it, you can now clear it and you have to go and change it, remove it, and put it to the left-hand side and all that. Tell us about it.
Okay, with the right-hand drive vehicles, I think the law was changed in 1974 and Ifanifa those days, that campaign Ifanifa, to encourage people to drive on the right lane as we do now. Yes, but the steering wheel should be on the left. Yes, so with this, they saw something good in that aspect, where they look at you having a broader view when you are driving to avoid accidents. Even the driver, when you are far away from the other driver, they felt that it was safer enough. So this, with the law came into being in 1974, and it has been maintained. The only thing is that it was reviewed to allow a certain window. Yes, they were banned in 1998.
Right.
You remember that they were banned, all of them, including the vehicles beyond 10 years old. But the problem was that anytime they were seized, how to dispose of them was an issue. So it was costing the state a lot. So you remember in 2001, when these double-decker buses came, the law was reviewed to allow for the minister to give permission for them to clear. And this permission was delegated to GPHA to ensure that everything was done for the buses to be cleared. So in that case, customs has over the years played an agency role. Even when customs started, our controller, those they call controller, commissioner was called controller. He was allowed to even be the treasurer of the Gold Coast. So it has a long history. So wherever we don't have government agencies, customs is able to do their work. Ministry of Trade, we've done that on their behalf. So customs it has been arranged such that the agents will apply to customs in Tema, or if it's in Takoradi. Then when they apply, customs will then refer this to the engineering department of Gapoa. So Gapoa engineering department, or even Sebon, they also have engineering department. Yes. So they with this letter, they then go and then they take off the steering compartment of the vehicle, because they are supposed to tow it to the garage, wherever they are supposed to work on it. So when they at the Sebon, they have to tow the vehicle to the garage before they come back for the steering compartment, because some of them will be tempted to drive them. Because maybe you have to pay 600,000 to tow the vehicle. Yes. So for now, that's the arrangement there. But for others, they do for most of them, even all from Dubai, you see that they have already converted them. They'll convert them in Dubai before they even bring them in. So they don't have issues with that. Yes. So in brief, this is the arrangement in place.
All right. So do they clear as normal, just normal vehicles, or they attract additional charges?
No, there's no penalty. The only penalty they attract is a DVLA. When they are registering, yes, they pay a penalty.
But if you are going to register a vehicle at DVLA, that's when you must have finished converting it before you go there.
Yes. So the job of the DVLA is supposed to inspect. The technical department is supposed to inspect to ensure that everything has been properly done. And to do that, because they don't do it for other vehicles. So once they do it, it's a service they provide. So it attracts a fee. Yes.
All right. Okay, so this is Eye on Port here on Metropolitan Television, and we are continuing with last week's topic, that's importation and clearance of vehicles in the ports. And with me in the studio is Mr. Justice Injoman Maga Yajayim. He is with the Vehicle Valuation Unit at the Customs Technical Services Bureau here at their headquarters in Accra. And you just heard him. We are still, breaking down the issues and bringing up the topical ones that you guys are so particular about. We'll be going on to your messages pretty shortly. But I would once again remind you that we will be activating our phone lines very early today so that we can have the time to ask all your questions as it borders your mind. So we'll go for a quick commercial break. When we bounce back, we'll continue the discussion. Please stay.
Goil makes good things happen. This time, Goil has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. Goil Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. Goil Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Goil Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with Goil Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. Goil has that sorted. Goil, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Okay, so you're welcome back. We are going straight into the discussion once again. And I would want to find out from you, there's this perception sometimes that the higher your engine capacity, the higher your duty. Is that right?
It's true to some extent. It also depends on the vehicle.
Okay.
If you bring a pickup, 5.7, 6.2, the F-150, it's 5%.
Yeah.
You see, so it depends on the vehicle. If it falls under 8703,
what is 8703?
Yes, these vehicles which fall the saloon cars, SUVs, you have the wagons, the one we call family car. Yes, this category. If you have a diesel, it's even divided into diesel and petrol.
Petrol, yeah.
Yes, if you have a diesel car and it has an engine capacity up to 1.5, it's 5%.
Yeah. Okay.
If it is beyond 1.5, up to 2.5, it's 10%. If it's beyond 2.5, for environmental concerns, it's 20%.
Wow.
If you come to petrol, if it's up to 1.0, it is 5%. From 1.0 to 1.5, it's still 5%. But if it is beyond 1.5, up to 3.0, it's 10%. If beyond 3.0, then it's 20%. So that's why I said depends on the vehicle. Yes.
All right. So you mentioned diesel and you mentioned petrol. What about cars that use gas? Because nowadays, most of the cars that comes in from Korea and all that, you know, these Hyundai cars, most of them are, you know, run on LPG.
Yes. We place them under petrol.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
We place them under petrol.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. So quickly, I just want to find out from you how vehicles meant for transit are handled in the port.
Okay, the same importation, Arava, Tema, Takrady, Aplau. If the evaluation is done, the same normal, it goes through classification, valuation, then approval. But for now, the arrangement may say that it is valued in Tema. There's an officer who has been assigned that role, who values all the transit vehicles in Tema. So, but it goes through the same process. So if that is done, because the duty has not been paid, the duty element has to be secured with a bond.
Right.
So the assessment that is done, that is the essence of it. The duty calculation that has been done, that is the essence because of the bond. So we then know that the duty element on this Toyota Corolla is this much.
Right.
So based on the assessment, they go to SIC, which is the main service provider, to bond the vehicle on your behalf. So you pay a fee for that. The transitor pays a fee for that.
Right.
So when that is secured, he comes back to customs. They do examination, check everything, ensure that what you are declared is the same. Then the examination comes after. If it's done and everything's okay, it is secured with e-tracking device for the monitoring. So it's mounted on the vehicle. So they are able to monitor the movement because some of them will want to divert. If it's meant for Ghana, they just, because they know the law, they want to negotiate the law. So they will go and take maybe Burkina Faso address or something and do it. So because of this element, the device is mounted on it. And then officers are able to monitor from the transit office, head office, as to whether you are really taking the route you declared as your route or you want to divide. So when it gets to the exit point, like the Paga, we have certain areas. Paga, Kulungugu for upper east. We have the Hamley for upper west. We have Elubu, Aflao. So these are the points. So you can't just exit at any point, apart from the designated point. So when they get there, and then before they exit, the officers will disarm the tracking device and then process for them to exit.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So they will enter in the system.
Yeah,
because it's connected. It's just a button. They will enter. Haven't seen transit vehicle would make, model, type, chassis number, meant for Mali, Niger, or Burkina Faso. Yes.
Okay.
So that's how they handle it.
All right. So at this juncture, let me announce that our phone lines are activated. The number to call is 020-552-8353. 0208-552-8353, and we'll be glad to pick your calls, and my guest would answer them. But let's zoom into the messages now.
Yeah.
And this one says, please, I want to know how to take duty for my Nigeria car in Ghana. I think the fellow is a Nigerian and perhaps drives a car that uses a Nigerian plate.
Yes.
And so the fellow wants to find out
So
what.
for an ECOWAS member, you came in with under the temporary vehicle importation regime. So you have your evidence that you entered legally.
Yeah.
So what he has to do is to put an application or get an agent to put an application on it, the Commissioner of Customs, and then they will request for the vehicle for examination. When you bring the vehicle, they will examine it. But the vehicle will be kept by Customs until he pays the duty. So the assessment will be done. When everything goes through, they will give him a letter. Based on the letter, then he can get an agent to put it in the system. Then it comes to our end. Classification, valuation, supervisor level, then it will get back to the agent, they'll pay the duty, then he can come back, it will be released, and then he takes the car. So,
Okay.
yes.
All right, this one says, good evening, Mr. Host. Please ask your guest how come one goes through all these processes and yet an officer gives the container to his girlfriend. I think something has to be done. Do you give the containers to your girlfriends?
No, it's not possible. This is, because you have your BL. Yes, you have your BL, which entitles you to your goods. So why will an officer take it and give it to his girlfriend? It's not possible.
All right, so let's welcome, I guess, Richie. Good evening, sir. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
Is that Richie?
Yeah, this is Richard.
Yes, Richard, please flow.
Okay. Thanks for your panelists educating us this evening. I really appreciate his service offering us Ghanaian. My question is, should I buy, let's say, from Ghana, an imported car? Then I've been given custom documents showing that the car duty have been paid. After buying, then on my way driving, custom will halt the car and check the details and said the car is not properly registered. To me as a citizen, what is my responsibility of knowing the car that I'm buying is duly registered or not duly registered? Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Richard. I guess you get his point.
Yes, I've got his point.
Yeah.
The issue is that if you are not the one who cleared the vehicle, who brought the vehicle in and cleared it, if you are buying it from anybody, any other person, you have to be sure that the person has paid all the taxes on the vehicle to customs.
Yeah.
Previously, you had a short code where you could just dial the chassis number and get it. They are in the process of doing that because we just have a new system which is yet to stabilize. So the only means you can confirm that is to come to customs headquarters with your chassis number. Even the chassis number, you can just check and know whether duty has been paid or if it's the new system.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. This one says, good evening. This is Dalari Aguda. I'm really enjoying your program. Please, can you ask your guest when customs forms will be out? All right, I think that is just a digression. I mean, you're not obliged to answer. You may want to get to the customs office yourself and find out, or you may want to look out in the dailies and see as and when it comes out. This one says, how I wish the officer in your studio will explain the process, just like how it happens at the port. Please, next time, invite some common floor citizens who have gone through the process to join you so that they also share their challenges. A lot of problems at the ports. Well, thank you very much. There's no name. This one says, hello, I'm Evans from University of Health and Allied Sciences. Please, I would love to know which platform I can access the list of registered vehicle importing agents.
Yes, they have the agent. They have an association. I think they are even two. They have Kubai. They have the
GIF, yeah, they have Achag.
So it means there are
FAG,
more.
yeah. Yeah,
So
sure. Yeah.
I have seen that some of them have published the list of
Good, yeah, members in good
members
standing.
in good standing.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Online. So
Right.
maybe you can go, if you are not sure, you can just go to their offices in Tema.
All right.
And then they can confirm whether your agent is.
Okay, so let's go into the phone lines and welcome Chairman from Nungwa. Good evening, sir. Oh, Chairman from Wa. Okay. Good evening, sir. Chairman. Chairman, Yetuma. Yetuma Bisum. Okay. So go ahead, please. Go ahead with your submission.
Yeah, my listen is I want to thank the officer, but my listen is yes about importing a car from Korea. This is Hyundai Sonata. So I wanted to find out like if how much will the clearance and everything at the port be done. That is just my question.
Okay. You wanted to find out what the clearing will be done or the duty and involved and all that?
Yeah, the duty and the listen from the port.
Okay, what year is it? First of all, these are some of the information you have to know the year, the engine capacity and all that before he will be able to.
2012 model. The engine capacity 2.0.
You say which year?
2012.
2012.
Yes.
2.0 engine capacity. Okay. Yeah. All right. There's a way of doing it, but I don't know whether you would want to attempt here.
It won't be less than 16,000 anyway.
Okay.
Yes, it won't be less than.
Chairman, so you heard Mr. Yajayim. He says it won't be less than 16,000 Ghana cedis. So when you are coming from Wa to clear it, please prepare in excess of, let's say, maybe some 20,000 plus other charges.
Yes.
I mean, so and you have your sweet 2012, Sonata to enjoy. All right. So you can also give us a call. Remember the number to dial is 020-552-8353. Let's still do some messages. This one says, "Hello, I'm Evans." Okay, I think I've taken that. Okay, so I understand we have Paul from Takrade. Let's welcome him. Hello, good evening, Paul.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead with your question or contribution.
Yes, I want to know from the officer that. Yes, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Okay. I want to know from the officer if I can buy a vehicle from maybe Togo or Ivory Coast and register the duty and everything in Ghana. Is it possible? Thank you.
All right.
It is
Thank you very much,
possible.
Paul. Thank you very much. Yes.
It is possible. When you buy the vehicle either from Togo, Lomé, then you get to Aflao, to be escorted to Aflao. Officers will do the examination, and then they will give you a document which will enable you to get an agent to put it online for valuation. And then when that is done, you pay the duty, and then they will release it to you for registration. It's the same thing at Elugo, because we operate a centralized valuation system.
Right.
So whether you pass through Elugo, Aplao, wherever, it will still have to come to customs headquarters for valuation. Yes.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Yes.
Okay. So this one says, ask the customs officer to make us understand what they mean when they refer to a vehicle as new. What do you mean when you say a vehicle is new?
Yes. For new and used, they are the basic meanings of the word used and then new. If it's a vehicle is new, it means that the vehicle has not been used. It has not been registered and used.
Yeah.
If it is used, it means that it has gone to registration.
Right.
And then it has been used.
Okay.
Yes, so these are the basic meanings that we apply. And in law, when things have basic meanings, you don't go fishing for any meaning.
Right.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's welcome Richard once again. This different Richard. I understand he's calling from, is it Germany or something? Good evening, Richard.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm at the moment in Ghana. But actually, I'm based in Germany.
Germany, okay, yes. All right, please go ahead.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, we can hear you, Richard. Go ahead.
I'm calling from Ghana, but actually, I'm based in Germany.
Okay.
And I want to contribute to the I want to ask the officer, what about if a car is 12 years, I mean over 8,
Yeah.
Yeah, what are the process and what are the extra duty that as an importer have to pay? Depend on the car.
You said you brought in an overaged vehicle. Hello, Richard. Richard, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm on it, sir.
You said you brought in an overaged vehicle.
Yes.
Can you lower the volume on your radio? I think it's a bit high. I can hear myself.
I can hear you, sir. Yes, sir.
So.
Yes, that's what.
And have you attempted clearing it?
Oh, sorry. So, can you hear me, sir?
Yes. Have you attempted clearing the vehicle?
I want to ask the officer that overage. Yeah, I'm attempted to clean. And what is going to be the overage? Which is 12 years, which is 2 years. No, actually, the agent is on it.
Okay. All right. So he will explain to you what the issue of overage is.
The ages.
What's the year of manufacture of the car that you brought in? Okay, I think you just have to run us through the issue of overaged vehicles, so that we can satisfy him. I think it will be good.
Okay, looking at what he's saying, we are not getting him clearly.
Absolutely, yes.
But the issue is that when you bring in a vehicle that is more than 10 years,
yes,
from the year of manufacture, it attracts overage penalty. So if it is a saloon car, SUV, station wagon, if it is beyond 10 years up to 12 years,
yes,
you pay 5%. Beyond 12 years to 15 years, you have to pay 20%. Beyond 15 years to 25 years, you have 50% to pay.
Yeah.
That's CIF, 50% of the CIF.
Yeah.
If you beyond 25 years, up to 35 years, 70% of the CIF.
Yeah.
If you beyond 35 years,
100%.
that's 100%.
Okay.
If you come to the vans and the buses, if you beyond 10 years, up to 12 years.
Okay, yes.
If you beyond 10 years, up to 12 years, 2.5%. If you beyond 12 years, up to 15 years, it's 10%.
Right.
Beyond 15 years, up to 20 years, it attracts 20%. And then beyond that 20 years up to 25 years, it's 50%. So that one ends with 50%.
Okay, let's pick Emmanuel. Good evening, Emmanuel.
Good evening, sir.
Please go ahead with your question or contribution.
Okay, I want to about the officer to help me about a Volvo truck.
Hello.
2021 model. The duty how to record.
Can you come again? We didn't get that.
Volvo tipper truck.
The what?
Who?
Okay.
2021 model.
Yes.
Okay.
And the engine capacity is 3.371.
3.371.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
371 and the engine capacity. I want to know how the duty will cost in the brand new 2021 model.
Okay.
He himself is saying that it's a brand new. The engine capacity.
Yes, sir.
The engine capacity is not 3 what? You said 3 what?
3.371.
No. Whole tipper truck, the engine capacity is 9726. So what you are telling that the number you are giving, when you go to the car, you see that it's written there. They have models.
Okay.
So the number you are quoting is part of the model.
Okay.
But the engine capacity is 9726. And being a new vehicle, what we expect is that you give your original invoice to the agent, and then based on the original invoice, the taxes are exacted,
calculated,
and then you go and pay.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Emmanuel, I think that you've heard the officer there. Yes. Is that still Emmanuel? Hello? Is that still Emmanuel?
No,
Who?
I'm calling from Tema, right?
Okay, please flow.
Yes. Yeah. Please. No, this is right. Yeah.
All right, let's take some messages. I don't know what's going on there. I think I can hear some. Yeah. Let's take this message. This one says, good evening, Kennedy. Your voice sounds familiar. Is it the Kennedy knew way back in 2000 at Radio Apples? No, it was Radio Progress. Anyway, my observation about what goes into arriving at import duties in Ghana is just laughable. What are we promoting? Looking at the many old cars on our roads. Can't we encourage the use of new cars by rather reducing the duties on them? We live in a country where it is like a taboo when you import a new car, but quite okay when you import not too brand new, and when it is more than 10 years, too big a wahala. Big engine sells relatively cheaper abroad because they consume more fuel, and the idea is they might end up paying more taxes through fueling, but in Ghana, it is a no-go area. I think we have to take a holistic look into the whole pricing system, a system which will encourage everybody to enjoy paying duties. My humble appeal. This one's from Lord Inusa Lanza. All right, Lord Inusa, thank you very much indeed for your message. Do you agree with him?
I disagree with him in some.
All right, so let's go on to the phone lines and pick a call. And when we come back, I think we'll address that. Good evening. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, please tell us your name and where you are calling from. Hello? Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening. Tell us your name and where you are calling from.
This is Moro from Dodo Aikuma.
All right, Moro, please go ahead.
Please, I want to ask the officer that. Hello, please, I want to ask the officer about. This is Moro from Dodo Aikuma.
Yes, please go ahead. Yes, ask the officer the question you have to ask him.
Okay. Please, I want to ask the officer about JC backhoe machine, 2009 model.
Did you get it? Okay, 2009 model.
Yes.
Okay. What do you want to know about it? Hello?
Yeah.
Moro, what do you want to know? The duty?
Okay,
right,
what I can say about his question is that
yeah,
all machineries attract.
Yes.
All machineries attract 5% import duty. They attract ECOWAS levy, 0.5. They attract the AU levy, 0.2%.
Yeah. Okay.
So these are the charges. Then they have to pay the ICOMs, the fee, the network charge, and those
Okay.
things. Yes, so it's not much.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. This one says, hi, Ken, it's me, Piero again. When you receive, for example, a pair of socks through the post office and you show the customs officer inspecting the value of the socks on the official receipt that you show as proof of the value, which is less than the cost of mailing of the socks, then the customs officer decides to use the cost of the pair of socks. As a result, you then decide to give the customs officer a small amount of money under the counter and take your package away without a receipt. I write to you in all honesty and from my personal experience. Well?
Okay, with valuation of the goods.
Yes.
Usually the first thing they do is, when you are declaring, you have the invoice, because the package is supposed to come with an invoice of the item.
Okay, wait, let's pick Philip from Caprice and then I'll come back to you. Hello, good evening, Philip.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, sir.
Please, I want to ask this question. When you go to probably UK, US, there are chances that you may get a car that will cost you $1,000 or £1,000. However, when it comes to clearing, it appears that the charges that is charged here sometimes ends up being more than the price at which you bought the car. So I want clarification on this.
All right.
Because sometimes when we're buying a car, we buy with the hope that I've got a car at the price of, let's say, £1,000. And then I end up paying close to £3,000 in clearing the car. And that is a big challenge for some of us. if they can look at it for us, we'll be great.
Very well. Thank you very much indeed, Philip from Caprice. You get him. He buys a car for £1,000 and he ends up paying a duty of £3,000. It doesn't make sense, does it?
As he's mentioning pounds, he's talking about vehicles from UK.
UK, yes.
And for us, we those who are being part of these activities, we are aware that apart from some African countries, right-hand drives, they don't import them to many of the countries. So it's demand and supply issue. Once the supply is higher than the demand,
yes,
what happens? The prices are low. So for those countries like Japan, the right-hand drives, UK, they are very cheap.
Right.
You see, so we cannot use that as a basis. Those same vehicles, the softwares used, those same vehicles, it is the values from the manufacturer who says that the value of this vehicle should be this much. So it's based on those values that we here would discount and depreciate to arrive at the FOB plus the freight and the insurance, and then we'll calculate the duties on them.
Okay.
So I don't think there's any unfairness in this.
All right.
Yes.
This one says, greetings from Holland. Please ask the customs officer when will the customs proficiency test be conducted. I'll come to that, but let me go onto the phone lines and speak to Ayayi, who's calling us from Tema. Ayayi, good evening, sir. Hello. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Please go ahead.
Okay. It's a good work you're doing. Yes, I appreciate the good work you're doing.
Thank you, sir.
Formerly, when the car comes, they pay value on the car. It was when the government was subsidizing petrol, and those who build capacity, high capacity, are cheap. To the others, they have introduced this sort of thing. I feel as though the government is no more subsidizing for it. Why should we continue paying duty on this?
Ayayi, if you can lower your volume a bit, your voice is too heavy. You are not able to hear you properly. Can you be a bit audible? Yes.
Formally, we don't pay on duty on a car.
Formally what?
Say,
no, we are not getting you. You probably would have to call back so that we can hear you when you are
address the issue
enough.
of the post office issue.
Yes, please do.
So if goods, our laws are that if you bring goods into the country, you should have an invoice.
Yeah.
So we are human. And the officer, like say he's there. The officer is there. That's the job he does. He's seen that somebody has brought a Nike socks in the last 3 months, and then you bring yours, and it's less than half what the person has brought. And these values, they take account of them.
Yeah.
So once he sees that no, there's some dishonesty in whatever is being done, he rejects the value because he has the values there.
Yeah.
So he's able to do the assessment using the values that he has.
Yeah.
But post office, as the operation, I don't think officer can just allow him to take the socks away. In the first place, when the parcels come, let's say a vessel or aircraft brought it, somebody from the post office goes for the bag. So when they get to the post office, in the presence of the officer, they open it.
Okay.
And then there's a document which is called Foreign Parcels Bills or Advice.
Okay, let's pick Samson and come back so that you conclude that and then we proceed. Hello, good evening, Samson.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, sir. Can you speak up a bit, please?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much indeed. Please proceed.
Okay.
Please go ahead, Samson.
Yes, I actually wanted to find out. Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
This is Samson calling from Upper West.
Okay.
Yes, I wanted to find out. I don't know why Togo and the other Freeport countries. Yes, I wanted to find out why Togo and the other countries, the Freeport countries in particular.
Okay.
Yes, why bringing in cars from different countries to those places is cheaper than bringing straight to Ghana for clearance.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Samson. He talks about free ports, Togo and other countries that practice the free port system.
The free port doesn't mean that you get everything free. Everything is free with the limits of the free port. Once you take it outside the free port, those in Togo, they pay taxes on the vehicles. You cannot register a vehicle in Togo when you have not paid taxes on it. It's not possible. No. So when you are buying it from the free port, it doesn't incur certain costs. So definitely you are just going to get it as close as to when they brought the vehicle from.
Yeah.
You understand? So this free port issue, and I don't think it's true.
This one says, good evening. This one is from Ohima in Tema. Oh, okay. Just conclude with the post office.
The post office,
yes. So that we
with the post office operations, when they bring the bag to the post office, in the presence of the officer, they open the bag, and then there's a document which is called foreign bills or foreign parcels advice.
Right.
So the post office officer will take account. They will separate the parcels. Some need special treatment, like those going to the presidency, diplomats. They will separate them, and then they will take out those which are small parcels, and then they will categorize the trade parcels, like those which are for commercial purpose. So when they will enter all this in this document we call foreign bills advice or parcel. It becomes a report, just like a manifest from, because it doesn't have any manifest. So that's like a manifest for a vessel or a ship, aircraft. So on this, then he takes, they have this delivery notices.
Right.
So each parcel is assigned a delivery notice. And so when you come and say you have a parcel there, they will identify, you have to identify yourself. Maybe Ghana card or something. When they are sure that it is your name and everything, they will add a delivery notice to it and then take it to the officer. The officer's job is to do the assessment of the taxes.
Right.
When he does that, it comes back to the post office. There's a cashier there who takes the money. So I don't see, so how will they reconcile what he claims he has taken away without paying to the foreign bills advice or report that they have?
Right.
How are they going to account for it when the auditors come? So I don't think that what he's saying is totally true.
Okay. All right. All right. So this one says, it's from Ohima in Tema. She says, good evening, Iron Port. Can your guest educate us on the following? One, what's the essence of the job of a marker in vehicle examination and as against that of the examination officer? Because sometimes the delays are unbearable. Two, why would a vehicle originating from, say, Japan but coming through UAE be valued in USD instead of yen? What is actually considered as the origin of a vehicle, where it was manufactured or where it was shipped from? And three, the used vehicle calculator tool on ICOMS is blank for some searches. Why is that? Is it not meant to provide duty estimates for all users of vehicles? I mean saloon cars, station wagons, etc.
Yes, starting from the ICOMS, I spoke to them and they confirmed that it's working. Even whilst he was doing, he was sending me shots of it.
Okay.
So I know, so maybe he's not doing something right. They've given me a number.
Is that some category? He didn't say all. Is that some
so they've given me a number.
I
think 0302750140.
Okay.
That they can call for any assistance. If they,
okay. All right. Okay. So and the first one is
the marker issue.
Marker, yes.
Okay. With the marker, I've explained that there are two categories of examination done there. The markers, they've been trained to do what they are doing. They do if you go to the port, you see that for all other officers, they wear uniform.
Yes.
For the markers, they are in overall. So it means that the job they do, it comes with a little bit of debt. So when they get to office, they remove their uniform and then they get into the overall. And their job is to find any information on the vehicle, wherever they can find it. So they can lie down, they can go under the vehicle, looking at the chassis and try to confirm the chassis number, confirm the engine capacity, confirm almost everything, the age sometimes, some of them, they will want to, maybe an agent will come arguing that they've seen on the glass.
Okay.
Or maybe somewhere in the vehicle, maybe the age of the vehicle. So it's the market's job to go and ensure that he finds that, and then they will reconcile with the information.
Okay.
Yes. But what people don't know is that for every vehicle that comes to Ghana, we're able to decode it at headquarters.
Yeah.
Yes. So even sometimes they do that. When they get to us, we decode and then we explain to them and they understand.
All right.
That.
Okay, so her second one has to do with the fact that cars coming from Japan through UAE,
yes.
Why wouldn't the duty be calculated in yen but dollars?
Yes. The point is that the vehicles from Japan brought to UAE, they convert them there. They're able to change the dashboard. They change almost everything that will make it a left-hand vehicle.
Okay.
So in order not to bring inequality, because the one who brings it from Japan directly, he's coming here to incur extra costs to do the conversion, even from the port.
Yeah.
So once it's shipped from UAE, it is valued in dollars because that's the currency of assessment from all vehicles from UAE.
Right.
But for those shipped directly from Japan, we use the yen to value them.
To value,
Yes,
okay.
yes.
All right, this one says, good evening. Please, my name is Kelvin. What will be the percentage of 1.0 car, or how will I calculate the percentage?
Import duties are calculated on the CIF in Ghana cedis.
Yes. All
So
right.
when you have the CIF, either in dollars or in euro, in Japanese yen, whichever currency, Australian dollar, you are supposed to use the prevailing exchange rate from Bank of Ghana to convert into Ghana cedis. Then you calculate the 20% of the CIF. Then you arrive at the import duty.
All right, this one says, good evening. Please, he was talking about the percentage of duty of cars. I want to know which amount is the percentage calculated on?
Oh, if he's talking about the tax base, that's what I've just mentioned.
Yeah, sure.
For import duty, it's on the CIF. For VAT, you have to calculate the GET fund, calculate the NHIL, which are above 2.5, 2.5. And those ones are import duty inclusive. So it means you add the import duty to the CIF before you calculate them.
Yeah.
Then when you calculate them, you add these two to the CIF plus the import duty before calculate the VAT.
Right.
It was explained in the law. When it came out, it was explained. So
All right, this one says, please, I want to buy an auction car. What are the processes? This one is from Ajay in Teshi. I think that, let me just run through because we have barely 3 minutes to go so that we'll get them the answers in the abridged version on Wednesday on GTV. And this one says, good evening, Mr. Host. My name is Daniel. My question is, why is it that you buy a car outside, let's say, 1,500 USD, and you import into Ghana, and that you have to pay huge duties? Why is it that? Is it that forbidding the importation of cars or
Let
what?
me explain that. You see, when you are buying a car,
Quickly, yes.
you should know that at the time the vehicle was manufactured, a value was placed on it. And that value is what customs use.
Yeah.
It's not how much you bought it. So when you bring the vehicle, we'll have to look at the value that was placed on it when it was manufactured, new.
Right.
Then we'll discount 30%, depreciate it depending on the number of years before we are.
All right, I think that we'll leave it here, but I want to assure you that we still have tons of your messages here, and look out for them during the abridged version, which will be shown on GTV on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. So make a date for the abridged version. Unfortunately, this is how all the time will allow us for tonight's edition of Iron Port here on Metropolitan Television. Remember, the program is proudly brought to you by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Ghana Revenue Authority, Goyle Company Limited, Serene Insurance, and Ghana Link Network Services, the operators of the Integrated Customs Management System, ICOMS. Our media partner is the Business and Financial Times. So grab a copy of the Thursday edition of the BNFT, and you'll be able to read all that transpired here on the show. Let me say a big thanks to Mr. Justice Yajayim, who is with the Vehicle Valuation Unit at the Customs Technical Services Bureau at the Customs Head Office, for obliging us. Last week you were here, this week you've made it. We thank you so much for joining us. And we would always fall on you as and when we need you. We are grateful to you for your time. My name is Kennedy Mona. God willing, next week we'll be back with Iron Port. Enjoy your weekend.